Hi, my name's Felicia from Nctrnm and I'm here to teach you a little bit about lenses. Basically, a lens is a sequence of groups of bits of glass, like grouped together to make the magnification. It's one of these. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit about the basics of lenses, f-stops, t-stops and depth of field. Lenses come in two different flavors, so you've got zooms and primes. Zoom lenses allow the user to change focal lengths without changing lenses themselves, and this saves on time, especially if you're running out of time or if you're on a shoot where you're pushed for time. Primes are a fixed focal length and they're often faster than their counterparts, the zooms, because there are less glass elements involved in making a prime lens and therefore more light gets through the lens to your sensor. More on that later. The choice between these two lenses is really highly dependent on the situation you're going to be using them in. What are you shooting? Are you inside? Are you outside? Do you need to be changing focal lengths really quickly? Do you need to have a really fast lens? Do you need to be light and compact or in a corner somewhere and you just need the one focal length? So, focal length. Focal lengths range from wide angle to telephoto, and they render images exactly how that sounds. So wide lenses, wider field of view, telephoto lenses, closer field of view. Wide lenses also distort the image on the edges, depending on how wide you go. The smaller the focal length, the crazier it gets. The edges begin to warp. If you capture somebody's face at a particular angle, their features may be distorted. Here are some examples I shot with a 14mm Samyang and my Sony A7R Mark II. As you can see, any straight lines on the edges become warped, and then on the face it created an unusual shape. Contrasted with an 85mm Rokinon, similar subjects come out more natural looking. And another thing that focal length will help determine is your depth of field. Depth of field can be deep or shallow depending on your lens choice and your aperture choice. Shallow obviously means that less is in focus, and deep means that more is in focus. Typically, wide lenses have a deeper focus compared to telephoto lenses. But the other thing that will determine your depth of field, as said earlier, was your f-stop or t-stop. Photography measures their stops in f-stops or focal ratio stops. Film measures theirs in t-stops or transmission stops. As long as you know that they both exist and are measured slightly differently, it really doesn't matter. But if you want to know the technical side, f-stops or focal ratio measures the light coming through the iris. Basically, it's the measurement of the size of the iris and how much light gets through. T-stops or transmission stops, on the other hand, is actually a measurement of the light coming through the lens and hitting the sensor or the film plane. Long live film! So here are the main stops to remember. 2, 2.8, 4, 5.6, 8, 11, 16 and 22. Changing the stop opens and closes the iris blades on the lens, increasing and decreasing the amount of light that comes through. Now, the smaller the number, the faster and more open the iris will be. This means more light is coming through the lens and hitting the sensor or the film plane, and the larger the number, the less light is coming through the lens and hitting that sensor. The more open an iris is, the shallower your depth of field will be. Does anyone else think of General Hammond from SG-1 when somebody says to open or close the iris? Or is it just me? I miss that show. So in conclusion, lenses can be prime or they can be a zoom. They can range from wide to telephoto. Wide lenses often have a deeper depth of field, and telephoto lenses often have a shallower depth of field. The smaller the aperture number, the more light is coming through the lens. The larger the aperture number, the more closed the iris is and the less light is coming through to the lens. There are so many more things I can teach you about lenses, but we could be going for a long time. But let's save that for another lesson. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, if you've got any questions, or if you've got any ideas for any other videos you would like to see. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe. See you next Sunday.